Hey guys, what it do? It's your boy Supreme Uchiha the God. Now it's been a minute since I've done this, but I used to do this thing where I would pitch a movie almost, right? And today I came up last night. I was I was thinking. I was in bed and it was late, and I was like, Teen Titans. What if I made a movie? Oh my God! I could make it phenomenal. I could make it glorious. I could make it beautiful. So I started thinking. The gears started turning, spinning, going 90. And don't worry, guys, Lucasm review is coming today. I read it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just, yeah. I'll get to it. Okay, I'm cooking. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, look, I was just thinking, bro. I was like, damn, bro. How would you? Because if you watch the show, it has some really good parts and it has some really trash things about it. I kind of like the show and I kind of don't. I watched season 1 and 2. I'm still struggling to get through season 3. I'm not. Is it 3? Two. Sorry, I'm still struggling to get through season 2. Or is it 3? I actually cannot remember. I win season 2 or 3. I cannot remember, but I'm struggling through whatever the latest season. I'm struggling. You know what I'm saying? I'm really, really struggling. Superboy, all that. I'm struggling, bro. I'm not gonna lie. His gear, the way he look. It hurts my soul. It hurts my soul. So I wanted to redeem that show by pitching a phenomenal movie. At least I hope it's phenomenal, man. I'm just, you know what I'm saying? I'm just out here airing it out, man. I just hope you guys think it's phenomenal, because I think that my shit kind of phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be more stylistic to the Joker, not exactly like Joker, because I felt Joker was actually kind of a boring movie. Yes, hate me. It's a great movie. Don't get me wrong. It's a great film, phenomenal, but it's boring for me. It's I just, you know what I'm saying, I found it boring. All right, I trudged through it, but I didn't particularly love it. You know what I'm saying? I think sometimes things can be a little too woke or a little too deep or a little too inconspicuous. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't enjoy watching Joker. Okay, I'm sorry. Don't stab me. Pitchforks. Oh my God, I'm dead. Alright, the like ratio is already dead. Alright, that's no problem. Right, I hope to redeem it with my pitch. Okay, so there's gonna be a main character. I'm thinking trilogy, right? This is movie 1, so if there's any loose ends not tied up, it's gonna get tied up in the next pitches. Now, you guys, let me know if you like this type of videos, and I might make once a week. You know what I'm saying? Because I think I can make film ideas at least once a week. You know what I'm saying? So let's go with the main character in this movie is gonna be Raven. I think it's important for the first movie to focus on mainly one character, because, and then while you introduce the other characters in the world and all that stuff, it ties in very, very nicely, right? Because I think if you have all 4, 5, 6, whatever many Teen Titans you want in the first one, it makes it very difficult to have a very cohesive story where you care about every character. So I'm gonna focus on three characters, right? Specifically, but two main ones. One main one being Raven, the second main one being Dick Grayson or Team Drake. It's kind of it's a toss up, really, to be honest. I'm thinking the only reason I'm thinking Team Drake is because I feel like, see, the problem with having Team Drake, see, there's an up and down with Team Drake, right? The up is that I think he it doesn't stop from like other movies happening, right? It doesn't stop from like a Nightwing movie. It doesn't stop from, like, I suppose neither does Dick Grayson. Actually, fuck it, we go with the OG Dick Grayson because I feel like it has more impact that way. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to include Cyborg because he's officially not a part of the Titans in the comics. Even though neither is Dick Grayson, it's not even Team Drake anymore. It's fucking, well, actually, Team Drake is back because they had Damien. I don't even want to talk about that disaster. But it's interesting. It's interesting. All right, so I'm gonna just go with Dick Grayson because that's my favorite character, probably comic book character of all time. So I'm gonna go with Dick Grayson out of pure bias. I love Tim Drake though. Don't get me wrong. So we got, okay, Raven is the main character. The second lead is Dick Grayson, and then we have Beast Boy, who is actually the antagonist of the movie. Right, so Beast Boy is gonna be the antagonist because I feel like as somebody that turns into animals and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? And I wanted it to be that way. Now is there gonna be another evil antagonist? We'll figure it out as I go along. But I was thinking he'll be the antagonist, and so will Blade Wilson, right? So that's what's his name? Goddamn, Deathstroke. For those that don't know, so why I'm starting him as a villain is just because I feel like he's not too OP, and I don't want to get to Trigon territory straight away. I'm definitely going to tease Trigon. Trigon is going to be the end villain for the trilogy. This is one of the reasons why Raven is my main character in movie one. Movie two, the main character I was actually going to think to be Starfire, because she's not going to be in movie one. Starfire is going to be in movie two, and she's going to be, that story is going to be, it's cool as well. I really think like the females or the women in Teen Titans don't really get enough love. I think Raven gets a hell of a lot more love because she has her own comics every now and then. Then the then and then then than Starfire. She gets a lot more love than Starfire. I don't think there's a solo Starfire comic, maybe like a one shot, but I've never seen like a full series or even a short series. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I've read tons and tons of comics, especially Teen Titans, since some of my favorites, especially the 2001 to 2008 run. I think it was 2001, 2008. It was like that long run. It was mwah, that was beautiful. That's what really made me fall in love with Beast Boy and Raven. And that's the crazy thing. Dick Grayson is my favorite character, or comic book character of all time, but he's not my favorite Titan member. And never has been. Interesting, right? But okay, so let's get to the movie. So we'll introduce it. It's gonna start with a really nice, sweet montage to give us a beautiful introduction to Raven, right? So we're gonna start with Raven's mother. It's pouring rain. She's running from the church, and she manages to trudge her way to her sister's house. And look, I don't have names for half the characters, so just it's a pitch, right? So she trudges there and she begs her sister to take the baby, and she kind of just hands her sister the baby. The sister's like shell shocked, like what's going on, and she's like, I have to run, I have to go. They're gonna try to kill her. Please protect her, please protect her. And she's just hysterical, and she's running away, and the sister can't really run after her because she's holding a baby. So she asks her husband to chase after her, but they just can't find her. She's just gone. And they're like, he's like, look, I can't find her. You know what I'm saying? And then you have a shot of, like a nice beautiful shot of the sister. So I'm gonna call her Raven's auntie, right? She's gonna be going to the room with the baby and put her in the crib, right? And then there's like it's in the nighttime or whatever. There's a transition where she's turning off the light, right? She turns off the light in the room and she's about to leave the room, and the door is slightly ajar, and she's just opening it more. And as she's closing it slowly, you see in the bedroom there's like a purple like energy like fluctuating, and it's like moving towards the door. And then as soon as she closes the door, like it kind of goes at the same time. It makes the closed door sound almost like it's slightly horrorish, you know what I'm saying? Boom, and it closes the door. Then we see a beautiful montage of like the two parents, her new parents, her adoptive parents, taking care of her and having fun with her and stuff like that. But we also see, so it's going to be like a contrast scene. So you're going to be seeing scenes of the husband waking up like shaking, and the wife waking up shaking, and like the puking, and like all type of malarkey is happening in the house, and they don't really know what's causing it, right? But it only started after the daughter, after Raven became a part of their life. Then we see that one of those, and while that's showing, it's also showing them enjoying the time with the daughter. But you also see a little bit as it keeps switching back and forth, you see the distance that the two of them are starting to have with Raven, specifically the husband. He's beginning to get more and more distant, because again, it's not his siblings kid, right? So he's getting a bit more and more distant, and more and more afraid of Raven, right? And then one day, he's hospitalized for like months on end. So it'd be like he's in bed and he's just having a seizure caused by Raven. And the wife sees it, runs over to Raven's room and like shakes her awake, like, yo, like her powers are getting loose again. Now, one of the reasons why they know it's her, and more accepting of it is because in this world superheroes exist, Superman exists, all that stuff, which I always found strange whenever like adaptations of these stories occur. Is like usually it's like everybody forgets that superheroes exist everywhere anyway. So I never really get why everyone is so shocked and surprised at those superpowers, right? So they're not shocked at the fact that she has powers. They're like, obviously she has powers, or there's definitely something with her. They don't have a full grasp or understanding of it. But they figured after a couple of years that, okay, you run to the room, you wake her up, and you just cool her down or whatever, because she's probably having a nightmare. But it's actually really Trigon just trying to get in contact with her to like lure her towards him. You know what I'm saying? So I know some people might say Trigon, I say Trigon, so like whichever is fine. So just don't assault me for that. But yeah, so that's the thing about it. So then yeah, the husband ends up hospitalized for months, and the wife is there watching him, and just being nice and blah blah blah. This is like the first 15 minutes of the movie. I think it might even be the first 20 minutes of the movie, so it's like the first third of the movie, the introduction to our characters, right? We also see the Raven is kind of gets she's as when that transition was happening, you also see Raven getting less happy and less, because she's also beginning to realize, she's like 5'6", she's beginning to realize that maybe there's something wrong with her. You know what I'm saying? Also, she keeps having nightmares. Sometimes she runs into the room, stuff like that. But one night, the husband, after just taking it for years and years, he his wife is like shaking and foaming in the mouth and shit, and he trips out, he wilds out, he picks up a gun, and he wants to go shoot. No, not she's not wild night. He's wild. Well, no, what happens? Wait, 1 second. Give me a second to remember. Yeah, sorry. He's wilding out, and his wife wakes up Raven, and then wakes him up, like shakes him, like gets him out of it, and he's just sick of it. He's just sick of it. He's shaking, and he's weaker now. He looks really really skinny. He doesn't look healthy like he was when we first meet him, and he looks like gauntly. You know what I'm saying? She also looks really unhealthy. They both don't look in great shape. You know what I'm saying? Because of just the difficulties of taking care of Raven. And then barely getting sleep, and nightmares, and getting mentally traumatized. Now, so he's getting affected by it. You know what I'm saying? And she's not yet at a place where she can fully control her emotions, and that's the thing. Emotions are what drives Raven's powers, right? So when she's thinking of shit sometimes, or when she's like afraid, or whatever feeling she's feeling, that's what emulates in the house, and that's what affects them. You know what I'm saying? So he picks up his gun, he takes out his gun, and he's going to the bedroom. He's just like, fuck this shit, I can't deal with it. He's fucking just, he's over it. And the wife runs after him like, yo, like, please stop. And he never hurts her because he loves her, obviously. And he was never going to, this is important for his character, he was never going to shoot Raven, but he was just, his brain was just fried. You know what I'm saying? He lost it at that moment, and it's a moment of like negative. You know what I'm saying? This is important because he's gonna be a character that's gonna come around later in the later movies. He's gonna be a very important character. He's gonna be somebody that's gonna be like, he's gonna be like a mentor to Raven. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna be he's gonna have a great redemption arc. Don't worry. Not in this movie specifically, because I want lasting effects. But he's gonna be in this movie, but I want lasting effect. This is very important. So basically, you know, when he goes to the room and he opens the door and he looks at Raven, and Raven is crying. He just drops the gun, and he's like, man, what the fuck was I about to do? You know what I'm saying? Why did I even think of this? He ends up throwing the gun, etc., etc. But over the years, the relationship gets kind of weird, because the wife kind of becomes afraid of him. She's already kind of shaky around Raven. Now she's kind of afraid of him. So he moves out, but they're still in contact with each other. And actually, him and Raven's relationship grows from that distance, because every now and then he comes visits, every now and then they go visit, and they still love each other. They're not divorced. They just took a break, you know what I'm saying, and they lived apart, and they kind of needed it, so they kind of came to a conclusion of like, okay, they're gonna switch. Sometimes if she needs a break from her, she goes over and stays with him for a few weeks. And that's kind of how the relationship grew. And as she got older, she learned how to repress her feelings way, way more. Not healthy, of course, but at the same time, it was for the sake of protecting those that she loves. Now, what was very important to me when it came up to making him the way he is, the stepdad slash uncle, really, right? Is because a lot of characters in superhero movies, either the parents aren't there, or there's no parent figure, or the parent was negative. There's always like something, you know what I'm saying? Unless you're talking about like, yeah, there's always something, right? Obviously her parents are also not there, but that's just her actual origin, right? But I wanted the auntie and them to be nice, you know what I'm saying, to be very nice people. So in the comics, they do have their own kids, and she actually moves in at a later age. But I wanted her to grow up there, right? This is important so that she can't really use her powers, because that's like an alternative introduction to her character. There's a few variations in her story, and I'm just taking the bits that I like the most and making it, dramatizing it, and making it, putting my own spin to it. You know what I'm saying? So if you think, oh, but that's not like 100% to the comic. The comic isn't 100% to the comics. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. So anyway, she's better, but she never got along with anybody in school. There's gonna be scenes of that, little scenes of her in school, and just her getting gloomier and gloomier and gloomier and less friendly, and just sticking to herself because again, her powers. And her family don't necessarily encourage it, but it's hard for them to say try to make friends when they know that she could end up hurting the friend by accident, and they don't want her to feel that traumatic feeling. You know what I'm saying? So they just try their best to teach her how to control her feelings. You know what I'm saying? Like, and to express it properly. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't build up and cause negative energies or powers swinging, whatever. So then we get to the mint and chunky part of the story, and she's going to school. You know what I'm saying? She's in secondary school now, high school. She's like 15. You know what I'm saying? She pulls up to school, and there's this guy that everybody knows. You know what I'm saying? And everybody is aware of, and he's Bruce Wayne's goddamn son. You know what I'm saying? He's Bruce Wayne's adopted son. So she goes to Gotham High or whatever the fuck. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, obviously, Dick Grayson doesn't know who she is, never paid attention to her because it's fucking Dick Grayson, and he's popular and he's known and he's sportive and he's smart and he's everything you want to be. He's the perfect guy. She's not too smart. She doesn't particularly stand out. She's dark and gloomy. You know what I'm saying? So she doesn't not yet have the I don't know, was she born with the diamond thing? Yeah, fuck it, she has the diamond thing because that's a part of her soul power and shit. So we're gonna keep her with that. But anyway, she basically she she goes to that school, and you see that she's just again all alone, no friends. She keeps away from everybody. Like, people try to be nice to her, but she's just like, you know what I'm saying? She's like super awkward and shit. And then she's leaving the school, and and as she exits the camera, right? Grayson is walking backwards from the left, and he's saying bye to some friends, and he's just like, yeah, 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 I'll catch you guys later, all that shit. Gets in the car, boom, mood changes. And then, hello, Master Bruce. Oh, Master Bruce, Master Dick, or Master Richard. And and then he's like, yo, so like, what does Bruce want me to do tonight? And he's like, Bruce is actually away. Like, what's for homework, by Bruce. And he's like, nah, Bruce is actually away. But he did want you to check out something for him. You know what I'm saying? There's been some strange sightings of green type of monster. We don't know what happened, but if you can investigate that, you know what I'm saying? It has something to do with a circus. This is very important, with a circus, right? So he now, everybody that knows Dick Grayson's story, he's a trapeze artist, and his parents were with the Flying Graysons, which is like trapeze team, aka in a circus, and they travel around, and his parents died trying to do a crazy move, but it was supposed to be sabotaged by somebody, right? So yeah, right. So anyway, This is what happens then. He goes home, he's all alone, like despite having all the friends at school and being super popular, he doesn't really hang out with them that much, and he doesn't really live a regular life because again, he's a fucking teenage superhero. So he's out here just like training and shit, and he's tired, and then he goes to sleep. He goes to sleep at like 6 p.m., 8 p.m., 7 p.m., whatever. Wakes up late at night, and he goes to do research and to try to find out what the fuck is going on, and discovers that okay, there's a new circus in town, and he's not aware of this yet. That'll be covered in movie too. So his story will be like a thread, like a almost like a side story throughout the movies. You know what I'm saying? Again, movie one is introduction. Does not like we're trying to connect these characters together. The main plot line is bringing these three characters together. So he goes there and they're finding out, yeah, there's been some crimes by like green animals and just weird things happening since this circus has been in town, and it's been in town for a few days now, and it's supposed to be there for like a month because it's Gotham. It's a big ass city, so they're going from different parts of the city. You know what I'm saying? And they have various shows and shit like that. Blah 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 blah. Anyway, so he's investigating this, and he sees there's this kid painted green, and he's like 15 as well, right? Maybe even 14, right? And he's painted green, and he's just like out here, just like, and he's like, why is this kid painted green? What the fuck is this shit, bro? And he's just investigating and checking it out, and he discovers that they essentially use the boy to do a bunch of robberies and to do a bunch of illegal shit. That's the only way he can live with them. You know what I'm saying? Because that's his only family, right? We don't really know his backstory. We won't find out his backstory in this movie. Well, we might later. Actually, we probably will later. So anyway, he goes about his business, researching, checking it out, blah 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 blah. Eventually, this ties in with Rachel very nicely. Rachel. Is her name Rachel? Is a fake name Rachel? But anyway, Raven. But her family want to take her to, her dad specifically, hers, uncle, wants to take her to the circus. You know what I'm saying? Get her out of the house, get her out and about, just to, see stuff, and that, being strange is okay sometimes, and blah, 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 blah. So they'll go into the circus the next night, the following night. So Grayson is like, okay, he checked it out, he scoped it out, but he's gonna go back home and trying to get more data before he does anything. So he plans to go to the circus himself as well the next night, and that's he walks past her, and she's a little bit shy, like, yo, that's fucking Dick Grayson, you know what I'm saying? And he out here pulling up, flexing, all that shit, looking sexy, blah 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 blah. Let me just scoff out half of the middle. So basically, what happens is, they go to the circus. Grayson tails them after that, you know what I'm saying? And Raven, because Raven has like a power trip on her way, like leaving the circus. She has like a headache and her powers are going crazy. And while that's happening, Grayson is secretly chasing after Beast Boy, you know what I'm saying? And Beast Boy bumps into Raven, and he apologizes and shit like that. And she's like, stay away, like my powers are going crazy, blah blah blah. Like, she doesn't say powers, but like, please stay away, I don't want to hurt you by accident, just please leave, blah blah blah. And he's a goofball, so he's joking around like, bro, come on, like, he's like, hey, you kind of pretty, you know what I'm saying, being fucking Beast Boy and shit. And then Grayson is like, shit, there's somebody there, but fuck it, I'm I don't know if I should like do anything now. He was kind of hoping to catch him doing a bad act, or going to whoever was going to, like whoever's in charge of him, to figure out who exactly is in charge, and if the rest of the circus is in it or not, or blah 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 blah. So he you know what I'm saying? So then as Beast Boy is just talking and shit, and Raven is like, go away, like literally just like fuck off. And he's like, okay, dude, chill. I don't bite, you know what I'm saying? And he starts to walk away, and then her powers just kind of go berserk, and there's like an energy around, and it's like, oh shit. And then Grayson is like, fuck, this is crazy. So but Raven like passes out from that, you know what I'm saying? So Dick is like, shit, I can't run after this guy because she just passed out and shit, right? Fast forward, the dad, the uncle pulls up like looking for Raven, and she's on the ground and shit, and he's like, oh, takes her home, blah 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 blah. Anyway, the crime thing keeps happening, and it's escalating. and it comes to a confrontation where Dick Grayson ends up fighting Beast Boy. You know what I'm saying? End up fighting, and then the rest of the syndicate obviously helps Beast Boy to fight him off and shit like that. And Beast Boy is getting his ass whooped because he doesn't want to use his powers. And then they tell him, you know, after they get a hold of, or they're attacking Grayson, they're like, yo, turn into something and eat this fool. And he's like, well, fuck it. He turns into a snake and he like tries to slither and tie himself around Grayson. Grayson shocks him and they fight and kung fu chop and blah 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? And then Grayson defeats the goons around him, but Beast Boy turns into a little fly and fecks off and is disappeared. And he just doesn't know where the thing went. He's like, shit, fuck, I failed. So now they go to school, you know, a few days later or whatever, and Grayson sees her and is like, oh, that's the girl that she has powers or some shit. She like that's the girl. That's the weird girl at the circus or whatever. So he tries to befriend her and blah blah blah. And she's like, yo, just stay away from me. I don't want to hurt you. Blah blah. He's like, nah, you can't hurt me. Blah 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 blah. And he's persistent and blah blah blah. And they eventually they kind of become friends. But he basically wants to figure out if she's gonna be a threat or not. You know what I'm saying? That's all he cares about. Is she gonna be a threat to the city or not? You know what I'm saying? So he tries to befriend her, and it's like, you know, her parents are surprised, or her uncle, auntie, and uncle are surprised. Like, she has a friend now. What the fuck? Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's the most popular guy, and other people are looking like, what the fuck is this shit, bro? Right? So, then, the syndicate makes, because Batman is away on Justice League duty, right? So the syndicate makes, you know, there's like, yeah, there's the thing. Batman is away on Justice League duty, right? Outer world, whatever the fuck. He's on Justice League duty. So the criminals have noticed that only Dick Grayson has been fighting. Batman hasn't been seen for a couple of days. So they're like, okay, this is beautiful. This is a great opportunity for us to lure the kid in and kill him solo, right? So they make Beast Boy rampage through the city as big animals. So he's like a mammoth, he's like an elephant, all that shit, and he's rampaging around, all that shit, causing havoc. Beast Boy pulls up, you know what I'm saying? And while he's causing havoc, he actually he doesn't kill anybody. This is obviously very important, but he's like, you know, just running around like a big mammoth running around the city. So like cars are stopping and a few accidents do occur, but you know, he tries to avoid any as much damage as possible. Unfortunately, you know, things happen. So Raven is nearby, and she's like getting this energy from Beast Boy, and she doesn't really understand where she's getting the energy from. And this is gonna this is gonna be a mixture of kind of what happens in the new 52 of Teen Titans, mixed with like the old Teen Titans. So basically, Beast Boy was sent from Trigon. You know, he was captured shortly after he turned into a Beast Boy. He was captured, and he ended up in Trigon's world. He's not 100% sure how. You find that out in the sequels, because I haven't found it out yet. But basically, he's sent back to Earth to look for Raven, right? And he joins the circus so that he gets an opportunity to travel a lot. You know what I'm saying? He gets an opportunity to travel a lot. And again, it's a world of superpowers. So he was felt comfortable showing them the powers and be like, this could be a cool trick. And that's why they let him into the circus. Turns out they were criminals. Doesn't matter anyway. You know what I'm saying? Now, he served Trigon, but he was like, I don't want to say he wasn't brainwashed. He was just like fooled into doing it type situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, so basically Raven feels the energy, because he has a bit of Trigon's power in him that allows, like, that triggered something in Raven, and Raven just automatically starts running, like going towards him. And the uncle is like, yo, like, where, and the auntie, like, where are you going, Raven? And she just like closes the door with her powers and locks them in, and she just closes it and just keeps going after her Beast Boy. Then Robin pulls up and tries to fight Beast Boy, and Robin is getting his ass whooped because the guy's versatility is insane. And then basically when Raven gets closer to Beast Boy, wait a minute, I just fucked myself, didn't I? Okay, sorry. When Beast Boy's powers are active, that's when like the connection, like Trigon's powers activate as well. Because whatever plot, right? Because I fucked up earlier, so plot. We just go call it plot. Basically, because his powers are active, it triggers the thing and in close vicinity, so it triggers Raven to kind of go after him. And basically, when they get near enough to each other, it's like the power goes into Raven, and that's like a beacon for Trigon to know exactly where she is, right? And the thing on her head cracks. We're gonna actually say that's what also helps protect her from Trigon, right? From Trigon being able to sense her. But that thing that Beast Boy have is basically the hack, right? So she passes out, and he grabs her and he runs, right? He runs with her, and Dick Grayson gets up and tries to chase after them, but he flies off. So he placed a tracker on him when he was the elephant, because it's fucking Dick Grayson, right? Beautiful. So later on, Beast Boy and Raven have moments as like captor and captured, etc., etc. And he's like telling her how like you're supposed to be the end of mankind, and my job is to save you and bring you back to your real father, who knows how your powers work, etc., etc., etc. Grayson tries to get there, and he flops, right? He gets there, but it's too late. Beast Boy and Raven are gone to Trigon's world, and that's where the movie ends. Yeah, that's it. I hope that was a good movie. I think it started off better than it ended, but like, I didn't want the video to be like 2 hours long, so like I had to like skip a lot of bits. And sorry that the video gotten so dark. It's late now. Anyways, been a boy, Supreme Cheer to God. I got more ideas. I could probably make it better, but like, I love you. Subscribe. I'm out.